Shalom, real quick, giving all praise to Yahweh Bashim Yahshai Bashim Rakakadash. Shalom to the 144,000, the rest of the elect out there. Shalom to you all. Anyway, I'm going to entitle this video, How Much More Proof Do You Need? So this is live right here, ones that can see. Urgent. Government says the plan is to tag everyone like cattle with wearable tech within 4 years. Neuralink will make phones obsolete in future, says Elon Musk. Even if Neuralink gets the nod from regulatory authorities to offer BCI as a medical aid device to paralyze people, it may need more time to test the modem to carry out long distance communications. So let me just play this.
Skin and connecting you to the internet of bodies. Now think about it from this term. All of this wearable technology that people have in their bodies is already connecting them to the internet, one step away from people being fully
This is fair use, by the way. Fair use, fair use, fair use. Let me slow it down.
connected. What Elon Musk calls the collective consciousness, which is really the controlled hive mind, where man and machine is mixed as one. So it starts with getting you to tag yourself with this wearable tech. And since you didn't willingly do it, well, now your government wants to come in and force you into it. They're going to start with a major propaganda campaign to convince people that it's in their best interest to have this tech on their bodies. They're probably going to give it away for free through the health insurance companies. They're probably going to say, look, what's your healthcare provider? They're going to give it to you for free so that people say, you know what, for free? Okay. They're probably going to start having doctors, because remember, the CDC protocols, they all give the protocols to all these doctors, and all they do is just follow what the protocols are. This isn't like the TV show House or ER, where the doctors can go off and do whatever they want, and they go, well, I got this crazy kooky idea to save your life. They have to follow it or they lose their practice. I guarantee you that the CDC will tell doctors to start pushing this, just like they pushed the vax onto all of their test subjects out there. These doctors will be told to start pushing wearable tech onto their clients, onto the people that come into their office. And then, of course, it'll be provided to them free via healthcare to get more people on board. And again, if you refuse, you will likely be told that you can no longer have insurance. This is your government not looking out for your health. This is your government tagging you like cattle. And nobody seems to care or pay attention to it, because the majority of people are too distracted about what a man is and what a woman is, and can men have babies or not? And what's the latest thing that they're fighting about here and there over politics? While your government is flat out coming out and telling you that they want every person within the next 4 years to have wearable tech on their bodies so they can be tracked and monitored by the government, just like cattle. This is RFK in Congress.
Secretary Kennedy, my first question is that there is a tremendous amount of research that shows that greater engagement with one's health leads to better outcomes. In recent years, American innovators have created and improved wearable devices so that not only are consumers able to better engage with their health through monitoring data, but they are able to share that data with providers. I believe American consumers, in line with the 21st Century Cures Act, should be able to access these innovative wellness tools. Secretary Kennedy, do you agree that consumers should continue to have access to these tools?
Absolutely. In fact, we're about to launch one of the biggest advertising campaigns in HHS history to encourage Americans to use wearables. It's a way of people can take control over their own health. They can take visibility. They can see, as you know, what food is doing to their glucose levels, their heart rates, and a number of other metrics as they eat it. And they can begin to make good judgments about their diet, about their physical activity, about the way that they live their lives. We think that wearables are a key to the MAHA agenda, making America healthy again, and we are going to, my vision is that every American is wearing a wearable within 4 years.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary. Following up on my previous questions, what steps will you take? And you just said that you're going to do a big announcement next week to access digital health tools to track, monitor, and improve their health while also ensuring appropriate patient data privacy, security, and protections. In dealing with some of that, I have had questions come up when I've spoken to medical groups about wearables and the privacy. Do you have anything reassuring for that, or would that be part of the announcement?
Well, as I said, we're going to do a major advertising campaign encouraging Americans to wear wearables. I've personally had friends who've utterly changed their lives just from wearing a glucose meter. And they've lost weight, they've lost their diabetes, diagnoses, and you see this happen again and again. And it really has a miraculous impact on health in our country. And it's $80 a month, and we're exploring ways of making sure that that those costs can be paid for. The Ozempic is costing $1,300 a month.
Right.
If you can achieve the same thing with an $80 wearable, it's a lot better for the American people.
Great to hear. My office and I myself are also doing the same thing. I think we share the same belief that digital health tools, including telehealth and remote patient monitoring, are steps in the right direction in ensuring healthcare access. Specifically, I've been a strong advocate for the use and coverage of remote patient monitoring. During your time as Secretary, what progress do you hope to see in terms of access to and improvement of remote patient monitoring tools?
Remote patient monitoring, you mean like AI and AI nurses? Is that what?
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, that we are working on that. As I said before, we've brought people into this agency who are the greatest technical expertise probably of any agency, except maybe the Defense Department, the CIA, and the United States government. I'm very encouraged by the caliber of people we've been able to attract to the agency, and that's one of the things we're doing. It's important. Keeps people out of emergency rooms. It's critically important for rural health care. and for people who can't travel, for elderly Americans who can't leave their homes, but they can.
This ain't nothing but a Trojan horse to give to for people, the whole planet, to or as many people as they can chip. They want to. Bottom line, they want to chip everybody. Whether he knows that this is the fulfillment of Revelation 13 and 16 or not, it's still a fulfillment of prophecy, whether he knows it or not. And he was given the script.
And they can find out what's happening to their health without going to see a doctor or to go to an urgent care or an emergency room.
I agree with that, and I've been working with the federally qualified health centers, doing some pilots with that. So, Mr. Chairman, thank you. Secretary Kennedy, Mr. Chairman, I yield back.
So we're going to see a major campaign, of course, of propaganda. We're going to see, like I mentioned, the CDC. We're going to see new protocols put in place where doctors start pushing this on their patients. And we're going to see insurance companies, I guarantee you, start offering this. Remember, like I said earlier, they're trying to transition everything into AI governance, which includes the healthcare system, which is why they're sabotaging everything. They're making everybody want change. And these people don't even realize that the change that they want, problem, reaction, solution, is what the government really wants in the first place, which is everything controlled via technology, a slave to technology. That's why they're making people hate one another so much. That's why people have grown so cold of one another. People don't trust the healthcare system anymore, but you can trust in AI healthcare because, again, the AI will be under your skin monitoring and tracking. So that's why they create these PSYOPs like the United Healthcare PSYOP, so that people out there start cheering for a guy who shoots down a healthcare CEO in the streets, and they're cheering him down because the healthcare industry is so corrupt. And we hear story after story after story every single day in the mainstream media about people who are getting refused health care. They have a problem in the health care. They're not giving them insurance on it. They're not allowing them to get a procedure that they need. All done by design. Surveillance under the skin is what's next. When you look at a lot of the crap going on in the world in 2025, look no further than the crap that was going on in the world in 2020. Because all of the things that happened in 2020, they're still trying to implement now, just through different psychological means. They wanted you to participate in contact tracing. They made you download apps so that they could track and monitor you on your phone in the name of preventing diseases from being spread, right? And obviously we know of all the other things that were going on during COVID.
Oh, this guy, Yuval Noah Harari, he's a citizen of Israel, and he's a happy person, let's say. So they say, well, that's the fulfillment of the Israelites, the Jewish nation, and all that. Well, it says when that's fulfilled, or when was that Malachi? Is it Micah? Micah, yeah, Micah 4 and 2 and Isaiah 2 and 2. It says that the laws will be kept perfectly, that the whole world will have to keep the laws. So that government is a secular government.
That they still plan to implement travel restrictions like I've covered recently.
They're 15-minute cities. These other camps, major camps, don't understand that. They don't understand what comes with that MOTB is the 15-minute cities.
Making you not want to get on a plane through these horror stories of planes crashing in to one another. What else do we have? Well, we had people quarantining in place. And what are they trying to do? They're trying to get you to buy everything online. Stores are shutting down. They're trying to get you to stay home, telling you to reduce your carbon footprint. This is what the plan is to enslave humanity. It's about getting surveillance under the skin. And here's some clips including here's a photo of RFK hanging out with Russell Brand, who happens to conveniently have his own show called Under the Skin, in addition to his alt-right media charade that he puts on, luring conservative Christians into thinking that he's one of them with his fake bogus baptism. He's rubbing shoulders with RFK a few months ago, and this is them talking about what the plan has always been: getting surveillance under the skin.
Yuval, thank you so much for joining me on Under the Skin.
Yeah, it's good to be here again.
When surveillance goes really under the skin,
We need to monitor what's happening under the skin.
surveillance technologies,
Surveillance going under our skin, especially surveillance under the skin. We have now hackable animals under the skin.
And of course, that leads to the Internet of Bodies. So having this stuff on your body is going to already connect you to the Internet of Bodies. They're tracking and monitoring. What do you think when you have a Fitbit on, that it's just going into your phone? That's where the information.
Yeah, this is a Fit watch or whatever, and Apostle Gabar had one, and he had purchased me one, and I had checked the radiation level, and it was stupid high. So I said, I can't use this. So they're gonna take this technology and put it under your skin, like Noah Harari says. That chip in your skin, in order for it to work, it's gonna you're talking about a lot of radioactivity, if you will. Yeah, this takes a lot of these things to get your heart rate and this, that, and the other. There's a lot of it works with the G5 anyway. That's why a cancer is going to form in your hand where the chip is, and it's going to metastasize. The word metastasize means grow in the other parts of your body. That's what happens if a tumor is benign or malignant. If it's malignant, that means it's going to metastasize. So anybody that takes that chip, pursuant to Revelation 16:2, they're gonna get cancer in their system.
Is going. How many crime shows have you seen? If you don't watch any of these crime shows, lots of these crimes are solved by the Fitbit. And you'd say to yourself, well, wait a minute. I thought I was just wearing a Fitbit so I could track my steps, so I could, see how many calories I'm burning every day. How in the world did the police have access to my location as well? Well, because you're tagging yourself like cattle. And all of this information is going way beyond your phone. It's actually going to the NSA and your government. And you might sit there and say, well, I don't care. I'm not doing anything wrong. I'm going for a hike. So what's the big deal? You will care in the future, because the more the government reveals itself to you, you'll realize that they've taken away and stripped us of all our freedoms. And you might say, well, I'm somebody who loves everyone and accepts everyone. Oh, yeah? Well, you might not accept it when the government tells you how often you could turn your air conditioner on, or how often you could flush your toilet, or maybe when your government suddenly tells you that nobody's allowed to have their own opinion anymore. And maybe the government will even eventually say, hey, you know what? We don't really support the LGBTQ. We just used it as a means to get what we wanted in the end. And then suddenly your opinion on things will change. Your opinion will suddenly not be, well, the government's my best friend, the government's here to help. Your government's going to put you on lists, and the government's going to track you and monitor, and they're going to use things like this under-the-skin surveillance to make sure that you're in your home at all times when they tell you to be, because when they implement the carbon laws and the climate laws and your carbon footprint, you're going to eat what they say, you're going to drink how many times they tell you you could drink, you're going to piss how many times they tell you you could piss, And you're going to live a life as a modern day slave. And eventually, of course, we know what this wearable technology turns into, because we're talking about things like the Fitbit, right? When we hear wearable tech, the first thing that comes to most people's mind is the Fitbit. Well, they have another plan for you, and that's the Fitbit for your brain, known as the Neuralink.
In a lot of ways, it's kind of like a Fitbit in your skull with tiny wires. We feel confident about getting the link procedure.
Bingo, the mark of the beast.
The installation of a link done in under an hour. So you can basically go in the morning and leave the hospital in the afternoon. In a lot of ways, it's kind of like a Fitbit in your skull with tiny wires.
People like your son.
Yes.
I mean, he walks around as the wealthiest man in the world, bar none. Do they like him, really?
You know, I don't like the word wealthy or billionaire or things like that, because I think it's degrading. I think he's the genius of the world. And people are loving him for that. They don't, when they see me, they go crazy because I'm his mother. But they love him because of what he does. And
put that in your body. When we told you to go get those shots, we said we give you a lap dance, we'll give you Arby's gift cards, we'll give you $100 Visa gift cards. And people went and they did it. They'll do the same thing here. When your government gives you something for free, well, you better run in the opposite direction. Because if it's for free and they market it as in being beneficial to your health, well, you could believe.
Anyway, I told y'all to subscribe to this guy, Ones That Can See. And I'm going to say shalom, on to the next shalom. It's there, man. Better wake up, Bishop Nate. Wake your ass up. Shalom.